Good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my name is Richard Williamson. I've been here at Miami for almost a quarter of a century. Before that time, I was an attorney in private practice, doing mostly environmental law and some international law. And prior to that time, I was in law school, and prior to that time, I spent 17 years in the federal government, in the Arms Control and Disarmament Agency, and before that as a Foreign Service officer of the State Department. So my interests, as you can imagine from that background, are in part international law and in part environmental law, and this course brings those two together in important kinds of ways. So the course deals with the subject matter of the international environment. That does require people to come to grips with some really serious practical problems that face the world community, and that cannot be resolved by any one country alone, no matter how big or powerful. It requires international cooperation, and it turns out that, as in domestic law, the primary way that we deal with problems is through law. It's not the only way, but it's the most important way. And that's true also at the international level, and true at the international level in dealing with the environment. Students in the class are graded on their participation in these moot court exercises and on the resulting treaty from their negotiation. And they do a paper and make a presentation on the paper. And those are the only elements of the grade, that is to say, well, and a little bit for just class participation, but there's no final, which has the big advantage that, toward the end of the semester, when you've got a lot of other things to study for finals for, you've got this out of the way. It's probably been more intense during the semester than a class where you can sit back and hope you're not called on and otherwise not do too awful much. Here you're going to have to be keeping up with a variety of different things, but then at the end you're done. And a lot of students consider that to be, nobody can consider themselves a properly trained international law expert unless they know something about international environmental law, and nobody can consider themselves a properly trained environmental lawyer unless they know something about international environmental law. So it's a important piece of both fields, and so if one has an interest in either of those, and they are some of the most interesting fields in law, then this is a good course for the student to take.